Today I've got some exciting Turning Tides DLC info, a revolution for Battlefield and a bit of a challenge for the budding Battlefield 1 players out there. And I know how much you guys love a good challenge. So some of you may have already noticed this, but yesterday a new battle pack revision was added into the game, the JackFrags revision, and I've had a lot of people tweeting at me asking in the comments, what is this, why is it in the game, what even is life right now? Well, a few weeks back DICE and EA contacted me and said, hey, we want to put a JackFrags battle pack into the game. You would get to pick all of the skins that you could potentially unlock in the battle pack, and get this, you would also get to make up an assignment or a mission to guarantee a way of unlocking the battle pack, which I think is awesome as that's a 100% way of unlocking it. So naturally I thought this was a cool idea, I'd love to be involved. So I set about picking some of my favourite skins for the game. Unfortunately I had to follow a set of rules, I couldn't just put like all super rare skins in there, which admittedly I would have loved to have done, but that's not allowed, and in the end I've gone with the skins that I find the most visually appealing and the ones that I'd be using on the weapons and vehicles myself. You can also get a cheeky squad XP boost in there if you're lucky too. So some of the highlights that we've got in there, the Legionnaire for the number 3 revolver, very nice that one, the Desert Gold for the heavy tank, and that one is super rare, but I had a couple people tweeting me pics saying that they actually got it from the pack. And then the Doughboy for the bar, big fan of that one, the Royal Statute for the 1906, and the Bersaglieri for the Rigotti. There's a nice selection in there I think, and I hope that there's some skins that you still need to add to your collection. So how do you guarantee an unlock for this battle pack then? Well, the first way of getting it, if you're lucky you can just get it from playing the game normally, however you like, and getting lucky, it's actually in the game and available right now that way. And the second way of getting it, the mission that I came up with, I didn't want it to be easy, but I didn't want it to be too complicated or annoying either. You're going to have to get your best aim on the go. To guarantee an unlock of the JackFrags Battle Pack, you'll need to score 75 headshot kills with any weapon in the game, so make sure that you aim high, and you'll need to get this done before July the 10th, and then log into the game between the dates of June 12th to 16th, and it's going to be awarded to you. Unfortunately, there's no tracker for this mission yet, so to keep track of it you'll either have to write it down how many headshots you get, or just look at your stats on the companion app. But the tracker will be coming soon, and I'm sure that's going to be a very welcome addition to the game. Overall, I have to say that I'm really chuffed to have a JackFrags battle pack in the game, and I hope that you guys enjoy the mission and get yourself a skin that you needed. Now moving on, there's been a lot of BF1 news lately that I wanted to cover in this video. The first thing is related in a way to what we just mentioned. There's now a brand new way and system of earning battle packs. Outside of the assignment-based battle packs, normally at the end of a game, random players would be gifted a battle pack. This was quite frustrating to a lot of players who felt that they could perform really well but not be rewarded for it. DICE have now changed things up a bit. Now at the end of the round you'll have a battle pack progress bar, and based on your performance in the game this bar will increase. When it's full you'll be granted a battle pack. The most important thing here is to play, but also finish the match to gain the most XP, and if you're playing the objective and doing well, you'll get those battle packs a little bit faster. And then we've got a new system called Premium Trials that's just been announced. Not to be confused of course with Premium Friends, which is similar but a slightly different offering. Premium Friends is a service that is still up and running until Gamescom, and it allows players without Premium to experience the new content by partying up with a friend who does own Premium. Being in a party with anyone with Premium will then allow you to play Premium content, but you won't earn any XP. However, your XP will be banked, and if down the line in the future you decide to purchase Premium, all of that XP will be awarded to you. So what's Premium Trials then? Well, it's a similar experience to Premium Friends, but it doesn't require any friends with Premium to use it. It's a way for players who don't own Premium to try out Premium maps by themselves and content that they normally wouldn't be able to play. As I said before, you don't need a friend with Premium to play in Premium Trials. You can just try out the new content and see if it's your cup of tea. The first run of this Premium Trials will start later this month when Predator Her launches. That's the second night map. More on that in a second, but there'll also be another run of it before Gamescom in August. Okay, so Prise de Terreur, what's that? Well, it's the second additional map that's going to be added as part of the They Shall Not Pass DLC. It's available to anyone who owns Premium. We've already had Nouvelle Nights, but Prise de Terreur will launch later this month. No set date yet, but I imagine that we're going to hear about it very soon. I've already done a video of the map on CTE if you want to check that out beforehand, and I really liked what I played. It's an urban based map, very similar to Amiens, so it's pretty different from our first night map offering with all of the trenches. As you would expect, it looks fantastic and the lighting at night looks epic. Speaking of new maps, we know that the next DLC, In the Name of the Tsar, is coming in September, but we also get an early taste in August as one of the maps, Lubkau Pass, will get released early. The Russian-based DLC will actually offer us 6 new maps, so we get 1 in August and then 5 to follow in September and beyond. I think people will really like Lubkau Pass, and from what I've seen, the Russian DLC in general is shaping up very nicely. So then, we've been teased as well with some images of the third DLC called Turning Tides, and that will be the naval-based battles, and it looks pretty cool. It's due to release in December and features the Zeebrugge Raid and the Gallipoli Offensive. The Zeebrugge Raid was an attempt by the Royal Navy to block off the port of Zeebrugge by sinking obsolete ships. Their thinking was sound. It would stop German vessels from leaving the port because they were using it to launch U-boats, and that in turn was threatening Allied shipping routes. The Gallipoli Offensive, on the other hand, took place on the Gallipoli Peninsula in the Ottoman Empire between April 1915 and January 1916. The peninsula provided an important shipping route between Europe and Russia. Britain and France tried to take the peninsula by force, firstly launching a naval attack and then an amphibious assault with the aim of capturing the Ottoman capital of Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. Overall, the offensive failed, with many Allied casualties. With that in mind, we know for a fact that Turning Tides is going to be a naval DLC, and we can actually take quite a bit from the concept images. In the first image, we can see what looks to be 3 ships. One is in some stage of being destroyed by the looks of it, but we can still see some soldiers on the deck. Could this be a dreadnought like we have in the game now, but perhaps one that can be boarded? Or is it just a destroyed ship that acts as part of the level? After all, we did mention earlier that in the Zeebrugge Raid, the Allied forces sunk ships to block the routes off. We can also see what looks to be a much smaller military ship on the right that we could hopefully pilot. After all, we have had information previously about a new destroyer vehicle. Interestingly, that ship looks like it's dropping mines into the water, and you can see a few that have already been dropped on the right hand side. That little ship bottom right is in for a bad time, being mixed up in this battle for sure. In the centre though, that looks like a non-military civilian vessel to me. As I understand it, non-military ships were used when needed during the war, so could this ship's purpose be a spawn point, perhaps, or just a transport vehicle? Could this image even be a concept for an all-out naval warfare based mode? Even the return of submarines, I think that would be pretty cool. In the other concept image, we see an actual amphibious landing taking place, so this is clearly a concept for the Gallipoli Offensive. We see military ships, huge civilian vessels, so many soldiers coming ashore there, and even paddle boats. I'm envisioning an operation that starts with the Allied team at sea and pushing forward onto the shore. That could be pretty awesome. If you played through the single player, there was something very similar to this, and it wouldn't surprise me if we saw parts of that single player level as the base for this map. The important thing here though is to remember that beach landings were heavily unbalanced, as you can imagine. The forces holding the shore had the high ground, and so if the operation or the map itself has a beach landing like this, I think it would need to provide plenty of boats and cover so it wasn't a complete whitewash. It has to be fun after all for a game. Now obviously all of this is complete speculation. These are concept images and that doesn't directly translate into in-game features and design, but it gives us a good idea, and it definitely feels like it's going to be a very different DLC than the first 2 were. And as we wrap things up here, another piece of news, and this one is a pretty big deal I think. Battlefield 1 is coming to Origin Access and EA Access by September. Origin Access is available on PC and EA Access on Xbox, and they provide a subscription service that gives you access to a vault of EA games. Honestly, I think it's good value for money, and if you want to play some great games without paying full price for them, it's a good opportunity to try them out. It also gives you free trials to brand new games as well, not just BF1 either, but all of the DLCs for Battlefront are heading to the Vault 2, as well as Titanfall 2, so there's some big AAA titles there. And finally, I imagine at Gamescom we may see some more of the In the Name of the Tsar DLC, as well as our first look at the new competitive experience being brought to Battlefield 1. We don't know just yet exactly what it's going to entail, and I know that a lot of people will be saying, well, Battlefield isn't a competitive game, and I agree, Battlefield 1 isn't, but there has been a scene in the previous games, so I'm interested to see what they come up with. Interestingly, the wording of it does say competitive experience coming to Battlefield 1, so that does rule out a few possible ideas about what it could be. So that's about all we've got for today, guys. I hope you enjoy the JackFrags Battle Pack that's in the game at the moment, get those 75 headshots, and hopefully you can get yourself a swanky new skin. If you enjoyed the video, guys, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, a thumbs down. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.